I just invented the scenario, but there's no way to make up and fabricate the fact that there's white panties laying here that used to be laying right over there. So that brings me to my second question. Oh, this is going to be a touchy one. But personally, I have never been so frisky that I would go in a place like that to defrisk myself. I wouldn't, because I'm scared of spiders and snakes and frogs. Rats, mice. I would never go in a place like that to defrisk. But I'll tell you what, I have defrisked in some, you know what, I'm just gonna probably stop talking about this. I want you guys to notice how the grass is coming up. This is the grass seed that the hydro seeder came out and planted. And he had to formulate a special grass seed based on the soil type and the amount of sun/shade that the different parts of the pasture get. And so we're really pleased. This part over here looks really good. You can see it coming up in little, kind of in patches along the far side of the pond. But this spot over here where it gets a lot of shade is doing real well. So up towards the little barn dominium, this over here is not doing near as well. Now, I do know that we had about an inch of rain, and I'm afraid that some of this seed may have washed off during that rain. You can see that it was enough rain to create some indentions there in the soil. And so that means it could have been enough runoff here and such force of a runoff that a lot of the seed may have washed away. Or does it get too much sun and no shade? Because if you think about it, this spot here gets no shade whatsoever. And all of that gets plenty of shading. So it could be a combination of a couple of different things. And then finally, this little spot right through here was the very last section that he did. And this over here is about a week behind all of that over there. Now, the water hose can't stretch forever. You already know we don't have any water anywhere down through here as far as running water. But I can bring the hose and I can kind of help water all this along here. And I'm hoping with a little bit of TLC, we can get it to come up. And I'm just hoping that we use the right seed formula, something that can handle this much sun, because this over here gets no shade whatsoever. Now, there were some places on the property that the hydro seeder could not get to, and that's where old Lester comes in. Today, we're going to go down by the river, and we're going to plant some Kentucky 31 tall fescue. It says it is low maintenance, it's durable, it's soil adaptable, it's climate tolerant, and disease resistant. So we're going to go throw some of this over here out and see if we can get it to grow. All right, so all of this area here is what we're going to work with today. All I have is a little hand spreader. I forgot to bring the one you push along, which would have held a lot more seed. So I'm going to be doing a lot of filling and refilling. But I would like to get grass to grow here also. I know that's going to help a whole lot with our erosion control. And the fire has we've almost got it all the way burnt out. I'll push that stuff back together a little bit later. And yeah, so if we can get this grass to grow along down through here, I'm going to also walk down the little lane here going to the river, to the water's edge, and I'll attempt to spread some seed. I've tripped twice. I have tripped twice. If y'all haven't seen that, I've tripped twice. So we're doing a lot of seeding. I'm going to go ahead and put the entire 50 pounds out today and see if we can get that stuff to grow. I wanted to put the seed real heavy along this little stretch here. That's the only water access that I have. And so the bulldozer come down and he pushed everything as far as he could. And so the only way I can get down close to the water, if I wanted to bring my kayak or my canoe, or if Jamie wanted to come out with her fishing pole, is just to walk down this pretty steep embankment. So I put a lot of seed here because I really don't want this to wash away. If this washes away, it's going to be like it was before, where I'm kind of stuck up there and it's too far of a drop to really do anything. You can't rod and reel fish. You can't launch your boat or your kayak, canoe. It'd be nice if we get like a little flood, not a flood, but enough water to wash all that debris away, because it's just all loose debris hung up there. But I'm afraid, because of the way the wind blows, it's always going to be, this is the deep side of the river. That's the shallow side. Water comes from this way over here, and the channel comes right along through here. So this water's deep here, and that means that we're always going to have all this stuff floating by and catching on to the, right up through there. It's going to have to either get that entire log out of there or something, or we're always going to have a debris pile. And when I say debris, it's not trash, it's just limbs. It's just limbs that, you know, float in from places. While we're on the subject, you can also tell that this side of the river gets a whole lot more erosion than does the side over there. For the most part, that's all pretty smooth and leveled out all the way down this channel. But as the water comes around that bend, especially when the water's up, when the water's deep after a flood, or, you know, during a heavy rain and there's some flooding, then the water comes around that bend and it begins to push up along this wall. And that's when you have all the erosion and all the fallen trees. Just over time, those things, just the, you know, the ground erodes away underneath them. The trees end up falling in. This one over here has a lean. That pine tree has a heck of a lean. So there will be several trees that will fall in over the next couple of years, I'm sure. Luckily though, we have nothing through here that's going to ever impede or mess up our little road. The worst thing that could happen here would be a flood that gets high enough to where it ends up washing some of this away. But I'm not concerned about that, because water seldom gets up that deep. What I am concerned about is this through here, because even we've seen water up to here before, and I just don't want to have any of this washed away. And don't say, oh, Lester, get you some rock and line that thing with some rock. Do you know? Well, two problems with that. Number one, it would be very expensive. Number two, how would you ever get rock down here? The bulldozer made it down and back up. And I'm guessing a skid steer could, but my tractor, there's no way with my tractor. There's no way. And that would be dangerous for me. So we'll just keep our fingers crossed and see how long that little spot can last, because it's a nice little landing. All right, one area that I cannot forget is down here by the little love shack. And it may not look like much now, but Jamie would like to convert this into her duck/goose house. At some point down the line, we're going to convert this little fishing cabin into a duck and goose house. We'll come by and build us a nice protective fence around it, where predators hopefully won't be able to get in there to our babies. We will have a door that we will open in the mornings, and we'll close them in at night. They can come out and mess around here by day in the yard. So I'll plant a lot of grass through here, a lot of grass. And then we'll also open a gate over here that will allow them to walk down to the water's edge. And obviously into the water. So I'm not sure how that's going to work out. That should be a lot of fun. I think that mallards would do really well. Mallards would do really well, but they would love this. We've seen mallards on the river. We've never seen any geese or little farm ducks, so I don't know if they would even want a river or not. The reason that I call this the Love Shack, in case you're curious, is because the very first time Jamie and I came here to look around before we bought the property, we found a pair of white panties in there. White panties. They've been there for a while. We used a stick. There's the panties right there. We used a stick and we picked them up and we were tossing them back and forth. I was trying to hit her with them, and she was trying to hit me with them, and it was a fun game. We had fun tossing someone's panties back and forth. Here's just what I imagine. Man and woman out on the river fishing. Maybe early on in the relationship, or maybe they're been in a marriage so long they wanted to spice some things up. And I'm just guessing that at some point they became a little frisky, because that can happen on the water. Guys, let me tell you something. If you don't already know this, water can make girls a little, I'm just going to say frisky. Water can make women frisky. Men, if you're watching this and you wonder how to frisk up a woman, take her somewhere to the water, because water makes women frisky. I don't know if it's the sun, the water, maybe, stripping down to your swimsuit. I don't know what it is, but water makes women frisky. Bottom line is, I bet you the woman got a little frisky, and the man was like, come on, let's go. And she's like, wait, no, someone's going to see us. And so she finally convinced him that she would do it if she could go somewhere secluded and private. Enter the Love Shack. This video on seating has taken a really weird turn. Or has it?